So this is the new Camry that I'll be performing the oil change on. This is my older Camry, my daily. Obviously it's in a lot rougher shape. I don't really care for this one too much, but let me show you the damage that's still on here. I kicked off the dangling bumper part, and I already have the new entire housing for this, so I'll just attach that. Then my dad said I should just buy that Amazon bumper, slap it on so it's black. He did have a point. If I put on the new bumper where this is leveled at, pull this out, it'll be very minimal. But what's crazy, it's only been about a month and a half since the accident, already rusting. I don't know why this is peeled off, no rust. So interesting. Autobots roll out. made it in one piece. I'm really blind without my sunglasses. I forgot I put my sunglasses in my car because I lost a pair at work and can't find it no more. But so we're gonna get ourselves an air filter and an oil filter, and then while I'm here I'll also get a quote for the spark plugs and spark plug wires, just to know what my next expense is going to be and calculate that into my budget for my next check. Alrighty guys, we are inside. Let's see if you can see all of that. So we got the K&Ns on top, mobiles, wicks, micro guards, and AC Delcos, and then the air filters. Now the old school way is to grab the book, and every O'Reilly's or AutoZone will have these, every Walmart will have these. So I'm Toyota, look for T. I did say that I go off a price, as long as it's about 13-14 bucks and up. Here's a good example, 13-14. You see how there's the random skips from 13, it's 16, and so I guess I will do a mobile one. So let's scroll up. Mobile one would be M1-103A. So M103A. So I know you guys can't probably see this too well. Let me take off the GoPro real quick. So right here it says MOB M1-103A, and it's also labeled on the box M1-103A. So you always want to proof check it at the counter. So you're going to tell them, hey, is this for a 1998 Toyota Camry? And they'll let you know. So as you guys can see, it worked for the oil. I'm assuming that they're out of filters for my car, which sucks and is very interesting too. Never seen these green ones. I could eyeball it, but you never want to do that. Certain air filters have a shape to them. They're never square all the way around. This one's square. And then if you look at these, let's see, there has to be one around here. They're different shapes. There's some that are like, there you go. Air filters are not all the same. They can be angled. That'd probably be a truck, a car, and I don't know what that would be. Mini Cooper, wild guess. We have the filter. That's our main thing for our oil change, but okay. So let's go ahead and refresh. Here. Probably thinks I'm in the wrong area to allow while using app. Let's just set this one as a store real quick so I can really narrow it down. Sorry, no search results. Real quickly, sir. I'm trying to find the air filter, but it's saying it's out. Would I be able to double check in the front with you guys?
Like we're out of stock?
I'm putting my car, 1998 Toyota Camry, and nothing's popping up. But when I use the oil, it popped up.
Yeah, I could double check for you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Nice old tools here. What do I need? I need gloves. Let's go get some gloves. What do they have the gloves at? Real quick tip, these all suck. These are great. Chrysler 300 Dodge. It's a quick removal. think Angel has this. I don't know if it was good, but these are my favorite because you can bend the metal of the oil filter housing and then twist off. I have those at home. Alrighty guys, we got it's funny it says Asian vehicle, but it is the coolant needed for my car. It's a little low, and unless you have a actual leak, don't put water in your cars. I got an oil filter and an air filter. I got a little spider web saying hello. I will show this in better detail at the house, but just to read it off here, my air filter was $25.99 plus tax. My oil filter was $17.99 plus tax, and my coolant already 50-50 water and coolant pre-mixed, which means make sure you guys buy the right coolant. Some coolants are concentrated and you have to add water to it, and you got to do a whole bunch of math. So what you're gonna look for is pre-diluted antifreeze. It'll literally tell you do not add water. The other one will tell you must add water. So those three pieces came out to $68.63 with $6.66 worth of tax. So split that down the middle, about $2.10 on tax on each one. All right, let's ride home. I'm gonna hope I have gloves at home because I couldn't find any small boxes of gloves here. At least it's a lot easier to ride home this way. The sun was blinding me without my sunglasses. we're home. Let's go ahead and get everything ready. That's it. Alrighty, you guys, so here we have the stuff I'll be using today. I took a photo with the GoPro for the first time. Let's see how that looks. On the top right we have Rhino ramps. Got them at O'Reilly's. Oil catch can, 16 quart / 15 liter capacity. For my car, pushing it, 4 oil changes, roughly 3 on the safe side, so there's no over leaking. Father gave me that Craftsman toolbox like 5 years ago. Had it ever since. A little closer, we have coolant, Toyota, Lexus, or Scion. There's green and pink, and I believe that's the only 2 they use. So you want to make sure you're grabbing the correct coolant for the car that you're using. We have Wix air filter. My car does not have a cabin air filter. I'm so happy. I still have a handful left of latex-free nitrile textured gloves. It was a 10-pack. My oil filter, Mobile One. You don't have to go crazy expensive, but don't go cheap. That's the best tip I'll just say. Under 10 bucks, stay away from it, but you don't have to spend 30 either. That's excessive. Unless you have, like, I guess, let's just say a Scat Pack Hellcat home project built muscle car that you're beating the living crap out of it, then okay, maybe. Or cars nowadays do 10,000 miles between interval changes of oils. I would personally do it every 5,000, one at the dealer and then one at 5,000 at home. I think 10,000 miles is excessive. I don't know. I need proof to show that that's not going to damage the motor long run. And oil filter pliers. This is for car. They have a bigger one for trucks. Diesel filters are huge. And that's it. We'll get to it. Let's strap this in. I'm going to stop it, replace the battery, which I did not do before coming outside. So I'll be right back in. Alrighty, you guys, we are starting to record. So we're going to start this up right quick. I hope you guys can hear me well. Next thing I want to buy is some microphones, DJI. It's actually a warm day today, 69 degrees. Okay, so first I'm gonna start with my ramps. I'm gonna check my oil level. So I hope you guys can see that. So I'm trying to make sure that my tire is not too much on the outside or on the inside, as even as possible. Now, I've put cars on here that it's actually wider than the ramp itself, but as even as possible is what we're looking for. All right, I'm gonna need a rag. Let's try to get some rags here. Yeah, this looks dirty enough. All right. Just to keep it a little cool in here. Out the hood. And then actually one more thing, the oil. Where are we at? Oh, wrong key. They're coming back, folks. We are at 191,251. So just to start it off, we're gonna click trip B and press and hold. Your trip B should be left for oil changes. My trip A, I use it for fuel. Let's say my fuel pump broke or my gauge broke and it's still on full, but it shows 280 miles. At 300 miles to 1 tank of gas is, honestly, I should already be breaking down on the road. For older cars, it doesn't tell you how many miles to empty like new cars do, so pay attention to that. Second thing, I ran the car, I moved it from the corner over here, so that's going to be something else to keep in mind. But main thing is you want to check your oil when it's been sitting a good little while, and you want to check your transmission oil when it's hot. So oil cool to see its true reading, transmission hot. I want to say this is my starter, and if that is my starter, that's getting replaced. I'm still not too sure though, but if it is, that's a pretty big module actually. Okay, so dirty rag, clean the handle here. Couple things I'm looking for, but I'll try to go as in order as I can. Okay, so first pull out, ignore it, doesn't mean nothing. It's not true reading. True reading, when I pulled it out, I had oil all the way up here. All of it was coated, that's why it doesn't matter. But pull it in, pull out, and you see, the other day I was pretty low, but this is a new car again, so I'm noticing that there seems to be some sort of leak here. Nothing's on my hand. We'll have to look for it. Okay, so obviously Toyota Camry, it's not American made, so it's better made. Oil filter is right there in front of me. One tip, and I didn't do it to this car, I always forget, but one tip is, if you're ever pumping air at a gas station, blow out this bottom area, because God, it gets horrendous when you're doing an oil change. Like I said, next I'm going to be changing these spark plugs and spark plug wires. That'll be these four. I also have the idle control module, that's going to be this thing here under it. What my finger's touching, I hope you guys can see that. That's getting changed out through a check engine code on my car. Now I've worked at Wheelworks and Mercedes Benz at Oakland, so I know a little bit. So off tops, master cylinder is always to your right front. If you're looking at the car, it'll always be here, always same location for every car in America. I don't know if it's federally regulated, but master cylinder is the fluid for your brakes. Next is our air filter that we bought. We have our battery right here. After that is our radiator, and I bought more coolant because the other day it was on low, now it's a little lower than low. So you want to keep an eye on things like that, like if it's eating too much coolant or oil. Is it a potential head gasket leak? Is there maybe wear and tear in the motor where a little bit is seeping of oil and coolant and being burned off in your exhaust? My motor mounts don't look too bad. Power steering fluid, coolant, and please make sure that you pay attention. This symbol, it's like a sweep with the little umbrellas. That's your blue, will be for your windshield wiper fluid, and then obviously coolant, labeled coolant, would be your coolant. Now we're going to pull the car forward to lift it up, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to stick my head out, and I want the center of my wheel here, imagine an imaginary line, to be lined up as even as possible. It goes up in a grade up until right here is the flat zone. Then there's this little lip here that stops me from going too forward, so we're gonna do that. Again, having somebody's help is awesome, but if you are alone, it is possible. Just be patient. So another thing is, you don't want to do an oil change when the car is too hot, but I'm barely gonna move the car. So even on a cold day, it's actually good to have the car even warmed up for 60 seconds. Just because it really gets that oil a little bit warm, not hot, but warm, to the point where it'll really flush out easily when you drain it from the plug on the bottom. So on, drive, stick my head out. Boom. I felt the car somewhat hit a plateau because it wasn't pushing me back anymore with gravity. I hit a plateau because it wasn't going backward or forward, and I let go of the brake so that it can try to go forward. And when I felt that nudge, put it in park. Always put your e-brake if you're lifting up your vehicle, so that there's no reason the car should roll backwards. Now, one tip is, let's just say, like right now, I'm gonna be under the car, and let's say the car falls on me. You don't want to have the keys hidden in your pocket how I did earlier. So if you're in a good neighborhood, I'm not in a great area, you could leave your key in the ignition, but you could leave it in the cup holder right here on the side by the stick shift, or on top. I know it doesn't really make a difference it being so, I don't know, visible, but even cup holder would be cool, because anybody walking by on the side of the street won't really, they'll see that it's, oh, windows are down, but there's no key, I can't rob it. Cup holder, you better use that last breath you have to yell to your neighbor, cup holder, keys, and they could turn on the car and just reverse the car off of you if you had an accident like that. These are from the other car, so I won't have to worry about that. So we're gonna check our work, make sure we're good. 1, e-brake is on. 2, this is what I meant. The car is lined up, it's touching the front lip, it's not on the decline. Now, my street's a little bit unique, where for the rain, my street is actually curved, it's not flat, so that can get tricky. But I parked not so close to my edge. If I would have been on my edge, the plastic would have been beveling on this curve, so I'm purposefully more outwards into the street. Again, we're lined up pretty even, we're touching here. Need to get new tires. And now a couple things, right? So we're gonna do the air filter first, and we're gonna bring over all our items that we're gonna be trying to do our oil change, coolant top off, and air filter swap. By the way, thank you guys for watching. Be patient with me as I'm still learning how to narrate. I think it's a little different when you talk to yourself versus talking to imaginary people through a camera. I know people will eventually see this video, but right now it just feels different. Okay, so we'll start off with the air filter. Now, mine is a very easy one. First things first is I'm going to inspect it for any cracks. If there's cracks and you have a vacuum leak, that can throw a check engine code. So, you know, first, if you can, inspect your own vehicle before you pay $50, $75 for a diagnostic, for them to tell you something that you could have realized on yourself. Now me, I'm lucky, again, Toyota, Honda, they're top par. We have latches. If you have a Ford, a Chevy, Dodge, you'll actually run into screws sometimes. You gotta get a screwdriver. That's okay. I mean, it prevents, I honestly don't know what it prevents. I actually prefer latches over screws any day of the week. Here there's 2 latches, and on the bottom it's a bracket with a hook. It's just lining itself up, so when I lift this front side up, the hook is gonna rise and pop off. So rise and pop out. I hope you guys can see that angle there. It's like a T. So I'm just gonna lift just enough to get my air filter out. Try not to split my finger here again. It's stinging a bit. Come on. So as you guys can see, that's a good bit dirty. And if it doesn't look too dirty to you, we got a wasp there, debris. That's a nest of some sort. Oh, yep, another bee. Okay, looks like that's an egg of a bee. If you have a vacuum, oh wow, oh Jesus. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. I have a lot of debris in here. I'm sticking my hand in there. We got styrofoam. This is why it's good to check and swap. What I'm gonna do is the next time I go to a car wash, I'm gonna open up my air filter, take out my air filter and suck in the vacuum in here and suck all of that out. It's sucking in through, I don't think I can see it. There's a hole here. So it's probably under here is where it's sucking in the port of air. So all the trash is getting sucked in and cleaned through the air filter, and then no debris is going into the intake. So a couple things when checking your new air filter is, one, you don't know why there was plastic. Oh nice, I had little plastic pieces broken off of it. I guess I should have opened it at O'Reilly's. That is one rule to do. Open your stuff up at a, you can see this won't really do too much, won't matter, but we're gonna check size. Okay, looks about even. We're gonna check design. All right, cool. Remember, there's different ones that have different shapes. So if the one that came out of your car isn't a rectangle, what if it was a triangle? Just boop, and this one's a rectangle and they're not matching, something's wrong. Stop what you're doing. It's good to have another vehicle to go to your parts store again, so you can get an exchange and take the old part. If they ran your car, searched up through the VIN or the make and model, and they gave you that, take the one that came off the car. There's been times where for some reason they can't figure out for the life of them why the part isn't fitting, but they'll just start opening boxes and say, hey, this one looks like it. Our system may not be recognizing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this bad boy in. Nice and easy now. Tricky, but not too tricky. There we go, nice and flat. And then we're gonna line up that back end again. It just seats into each other. There's no latch, there's no sound, there's no nothing. Okay, needs a little elbow grease in here. Something is just not quite fitting for some reason. You can see that crack, so let's try to do this again. There we go. Come on, baby. Make sure everything is sealed, level. That's a cool feature. That's actually not broken. There's a level here to check on your air filter. Oh, okay, so that's done. We'll throw the old box into the new box and dispose of it in the, I don't know, recycle or trash. This is made out of cotton, so I wonder if this air filter, boom, 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 cancer. Okay, everything has cancer. Yeah. Huh, there we go. Sold in Mexico to avoid serious bodily injury. It's an air filter, people. Well, it doesn't say how to dispose of it, so just throw it in the trash. That was how I replaced my air filter. And I'll check on it probably in 6 months. I'm in the Bay Area, so there's not a lot of debris like if I was out maybe in Fresno where all you have is open land and debris and dust. Okay, test or replace when hanging coolant, 13 pounds. So another thing too is, if I was leaking a lot of coolant, which I have seen it go down, is under pressure when it's hot, you can check for any live leaks. And I wish I had my old freaking, let's see. I'm gonna stick my phone down, look for fresh water leaks. Look at that serpentine belt, looks thick. All right, if your serpentine belt was running down, you'll use your finger, run it across. It'll feel like racetrack grooves, just like this. This is literally, there's probably about what, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. This is what a serpentine belt looks like, just these grooves. Now you see how thick these are. The lower that they go is when they're starting to wear off. That's when it can slip off or snap off. This is 20-30 bucks, but if it snaps, you're stranded. So make sure to upkeep that. So we're gonna open up our coolant reservoir. Now here on the side, we can see that it says low, and we can see that it says full. We can even grab our rag wherever I put it. There it is. Just clean that off a little bit. I'm over here heavy breathing like Darth Vader. So that's nice and red. If it was brown or flaky, as in rust, if it's in the beginning stages, you can do a super flush. You would add a chemical that is designed to break down that corrosion. You'd probably want to hit it hard, 2 to 3 treatments. It takes a couple weeks to do, and you would do it prior to a full coolant flush. So you're going to spend some money, but if it's a car that you like or an expensive car, a little bit of money on that maintenance and quick cure, well, not quick cure, but slightly costly cure, is better than the whole motor going kaput and clogged up. So you can kind of tell by the color already on the side here. That's not good, it's already leaking. FYI, coolant tastes sweet. I read that in high school, which is why you should never leave this stuff around animals. They'll taste it as sweet and drink it. Examples, I think in that book that I was reading, was deer. All right, so if you can peel it off, cool. Let's try to peel it off. Doesn't need to be perfect, just pinch everything away to the side. This is a very tiny reservoir too. Just gonna... So I should have done it before I did it, but we are not going to pour this way. We're going to pour this way, flat. Why? If you pour head on, you get the action. If I were to pour to my right, if I pour to my left, you'll actually be able to tilt this a lot more before it starts to pour. But if you just do it sideways, you won't be able to bend that far in, but all of this air will prevent the splashing effect. Close your mouth when you do it too. You don't want to splash it in your mouth by accident. That should be about enough. Okay, so this one specifically can hold a freeze up to -34 degrees and boil over at 265. It can do Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, Subaru, Daewoo, Lexus, Kia, all of these. And it's guaranteed performance. So every 5 years or 150,000 miles. This car has 191. My older car has 161,000. So you could say it's due for it. So now we'll check the front side. I went just a tad bit over full, but full is here. When it gets hot, there's actually a blow tube. Where would it be? There's usually a blow tube where it'll purposefully spill out coolant. So if you guys ever top off your coolant and you see major spillage when you pull over at like a gas station or something, don't immediately get scared. It's designed to blow off the steam and excess flow or extra that I poured in that shouldn't be there, or when it's super hot summer day, it starts to bubble over. It'll also release some to just, I don't know, the steamer. It's just designed to not build up so much pressure, or that it just blow. Oh, nice. Oh, I still got the cover. Okay, I'm still learning things about this car. Cool. So coolant is topped off. It is January 29th, the last week of the year. I mean, of the month. Jesus, the year of the month. So if I go to low again by the end of February, something's up. Definitely something's up. So coolant is now done. Boom. We can leave that alone. Now, I just want to be able to show you one, actually, before we get to that. Another thing too is your oil filter cap. Quick clean before I take it off. Engine oil right on top. The viscosity 5W30. 5W means it operates up to 5 degrees winter, and 30 is the viscosity. So if I were to get 5W100, it's comparing it to water. So if I were to pour water in my right hand and oil that's at viscosity 100, they'll both flow at the same speed. If it was 5W50 and I poured water, the oil would pour at half the speed that the water is falling with gravity. If I had 5W10, which there is, I would pour water, it would splash. The oil would probably look like honey, like just very slowly. So that's the thickness, or viscosity. So when looking at your cap, you don't want to see any frothiness, or you can call it like that cold foam that you get on your Starbucks. That cold foam or cream, that would be a bad sign. The main culprit is you have a blown head gasket. So now at Firestone Wheel Works, they have a lot of rules that they've learned over the lawsuits that they've had, so they're very strict. We were taught that you put your oil cap where the latch is for the hood. Reason being is because everybody must double torque you and double check your oil. So you'll yell out double torque. After you torqued it at the specification, somebody else must manually touch the wrench and also torque it and yell out torqued. And believe me, I actually saw a motor get blown up because they didn't even top off the oil. So it happens. And obviously Firestone pays for it, or in that case, Wheelworks. So you put the cap here for two reasons. When you're about to close the hood, if you actually stop yourself before you break your cap, you're gonna realize, hold up, I haven't closed my cap. Let me double check that I actually topped off my oil after my oil change. Second thing is, if this hood latch comes down and breaks this $25 cap, the company will 100% pay out a $25 cap over a potential. Now I know this is a very cheap motor, but let's say I came in a brand new Chrysler 300. That's a $10,000 motor. Or imagine it was a Hellcat. We're talking 30 grand for that motor. They would have to pay it. So they'll always just say, well, it's okay. Most Wheelworks are right next to an O'Reilly's anyways, or down the street from one. So, you know, that's a tip for you guys to keep in mind. Now, here is my oil filter. Now, I can't really do it from up here, but I'll do it once I take off that oil filter and check how I check, just like I did with the air filter, to make sure that they're matching. I'll do that from up here. Another way to make sure to have good airflow is open up your oil cap and your dipstick to have airflow. On your drain pan, we're gonna take off the plug. That way, when the oil is falling down, it has the holes to go into. Make sure this is sealed off right so there's no leaks, and open up your vent. If you don't open up that air vent, you're gonna have, when the thick oil is going in, you're gonna have splashing coming up because it's trying to breathe through the same holes that it's sucking in. But if it has a open vent, then you'd be okay.
Almost done?
Almost.
Well, you have a good one.
Thank you, you too. I guess a good safety feature on having an iWatch is if the car did fall on you, you could use Siri to contact emergency services, or even maybe your wife that's in the house or something. Now I'm wearing gloves because of my finger cut. Most of the time I wouldn't be, but we're gonna swoop this down over there to have it ready. And then, thanks to my dad, I have this. Oh, it still has it, kind of. It's a 108 piece, 35 1/4 inch, 34 3/8, 39 specialty tools. This toolbox has been with me for everywhere. I know Icon and Snap-on makes these for 50 bucks or 100. I don't know, maybe Icon's 50 and Snap-on's 100. This was $2.99 Harbor Freight. Has a 4-pick set, but this one, when you have those Mercedes Benz oil filters, you can just hook and release. Take off those little O-rings that it comes with. I have extra sockets here too. All right, most cars are a 14 or a 15. I'm gonna gamble my chances with this 14 here, and to not have to come back out, I'm gonna take a 15 with me down in there. Oh crap, I forgot to actually grab oil that I'm gonna need. Yeah, let me go grab that. Let me go grab it after. Nope, let me do it now. That I get from Costco. I get 5 of these bad boys. It is 5W30, 6 quarts in 1 box for roughly $33 to $42, depending if oil has gone up or not. Mobile one for you Mercedes car guys. It's rated for 10,000, but we do 3,000 mile oil changes here. So let's put that on this side. Okay, boom boom, and let's go under. So a few things to check when you're under your car is, before you go in, make sure that your car is supported correctly, nothing's leaning or about to fall. 2, we're gonna check for what kind of oil leaks we have. This is a 98 08 18 plus 6, so 26-year-old car. It's got some age on her. So if I had my flashlight, which I left up there, we're gonna see that the majority of my oil leaking, I can already see a drop coming there, is from my actual oil pan. So that's good to know. I thought, oh, I see leaking way up there too. That might be, would that be power steering or who knows? Everything's leaking. We got our rack and pinion here leaking. Handful of gaskets. I mean, depending on the quote, I'll probably call my old mechanic Noni, see how much he charges me for oil pan and whatever else is leaking. Valve cover gaskets. The transmission is dry. This is the transmission. You know it's transmission because it's flat And usually oil pans are beveled like a cow stomach, just whoa, whoa. There's no leaking around my oil pan drain plug, which is good. Now this is the 15, this is the extra one I brought, so let's just test it out. Too loose. Let's try this one. Nice. So arm is cramping up. Let's make sure that we are on lefty loosey. And if you bust your knuckles, you know you'll get some man hands. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Ready, set, and go. Where's my rag? That is definitely not a lot of oil. She was low for sure. Low oil for sure. Okay. Yeah, so have a handful of leaks. It's expected from an old car and for the mileage it has. So, you know, just because you get a cheap car, I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but that's actually interesting. Now that I'm under my car, the tires overall seem pretty worn out evenly, but my 2 front tires did not match my 2 rear tires. Looks like they bought a set of 2. Those are older, they're more worn out. These are thicker here. Now I really want this oil to leak out pretty good, so I'm gonna come up here, try to open up this drain plug and hope that it's not too much leakage. There always is. So I'm gonna put this rag here to catch as much of the oil that's gonna leak out. Sometimes after an oil change you'll have that burning smell. It's because the oil that came into contact with the motor is getting burned off. Now we're gonna do a lefty loosey. Yep, and it is on that bad boy. So the way I'll use this, we can move this away right quick. Out the way, we're gonna grab on and clamp, which bends the aluminum or metal of the filter. It's almost like grabbing a football that's kind of flattish, and it'll help you get a good grip, because now it won't rotate and slip. It's created corners, crevices, and now it's gonna really rotate that thing for you. There we go. Look how easy that was with the tool. Just small increments of lefty loosey, and once it's loose by hand we can remove that, and we're gonna be real slow. I can hear it, a little air seeping. Oh, they were using OEM Toyota parts. You do not need to buy from a dealership, you guys. You're spending a lot of money. That one guy was actually explaining on the Toyota OEM. Where does it say? It was it was showing where they packaged the product. It's not on here. Oh, well, here, maybe it might be on the filter itself. Made in USA. Wow, that's rare. Yeah, made in USA here. Okay, Sometimes it shows the parent company though. So this was made by ExxonMobil, so a gas station company, obviously Mobil 1. Okay, so I can see just a little bit of seepage there. We got leaking. We got leakage. There we go. Just gonna let it get seeped in and caught up. Soaked in, I mean, and caught with the rag there. It's always gonna happen. I'm curious if they sell a special tool for that, where it just perfectly goes in there. It's a little oil well. It's not a lot of seepage, so I'm just gonna try to move fast and immediately whoop, catch it backwards, pull it out, and we're gonna do two things. Instead of having to wet my finger, I'm gonna do two things at once. I'm gonna lube up the new oil filter, because if this is dry and you put it on a wet surface, you might catch air pockets on the rubber. Secondly, I'm gonna check the size. They're actually equal. One thing that I've learned is that some oil filters on different brands can be twice as big as the one that I'm holding in my hand, but the actual entrance will be the same. Finger, finger, and then the mating area is the same too. So I'm gonna dump this oil there. As you can see, there's a lot left in here. Boom. Clean off my hand. Oh, well, the only rag I have here. So I'm gonna use this towel and very carefully just clean the surface. This one's pretty clean. The previous owner did a great job on maintenance. They probably did it themselves, or it's kind of apparent that they went to Toyota. I'm gonna stick the rag in here to soak up that old oil. You can feel it seeping into the rag. Cool. Just want to make sure there's no debris, so that when I put the new surface on there, clean as a whistle. Turn it inside out. Let's get a different angle here. Boom. All right, and we're a little dirty. Did I lock this? I hope I didn't. Oh, thank God. Pop the trunk on. See if we can find any more rags around here. I have a lot of singles of oil here from previous oil changes, or if somebody needs an emergency roadside oil top off. We're just gonna tear up this one here. Oh well, that's okay. You can get these for $3 for $1 at the dollar store. That's probably where I got this one. So I really like my new oil filter itself to be spotless. I don't know, it's just my thing. So this is lubed up. That's a clean surface. And like I said, me personally, I do the finger test. Did it fit my thumb, my index, my pinky? If the next one, let's say my thumb or my index fit this one, you see how it stops, but the next one my thumb slips straight through, that might be a little bit too big and the wrong filter itself. So when you're tightening up an oil filter, you're gonna do hand tight only. So tight, 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 and it stopped around there, and I'm gonna do a wah, wah. So 2 guas. And if you have a silver Sharpie, go ahead and put the date, January 29, or the mileage. You could put 161K, and that way you know. Or if you sold the car, the next person would look at it and be like, oh, this isn't a filter that they've skipped on once or twice. So dipstick here. If you hear music, all the high schoolers and middle schoolers, got out of school. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go back down and check on the drainage. That's pretty much done dripping. I'm gonna grab the drain plug. I'm gonna clean it real quick. Make sure there's no debris where the gasket is at. My gasket is actually wearing off, so now I know that I need to buy a new gasket on the next oil change, but it's made out of steel, so it should be fine. Now, as we came in here and we saw that there was no leaking on the oil drain plug area like it's leaking now, I'll keep that in mind. If there's leakage, I can correlate it to I have stripping here. So I'm just gonna do quick wipe and plug. I can move this away now. Boom, finger tight. Wipe, grab my tool. Drain plugs do not require a lot of force. These are done with very low 13, 15, 18 foot-pounds. Just Google what you need. Make sure you're on righty tighty, and just gonna tight. It stopped, and I'll do another wah, and that's it. If you see leakage, tighten it up a little more, that's all. So grab our two tools. Again, we inspected. This is pretty dirty, so it'll need a lot of you know, repairs in the sense of gaskets, but at least my transmission is dry. Usually those things are notorious. So we're gonna put our tools back. This was the 14, 15. This is done. Shouts out to Dad for getting me this. I can do brake jobs, everything. All the roadside repairs out of this toolbox. All right. Next, gonna make sure this is all drained out. Now, it's best to have like a plastic bag. That way you can put your oil filter in there, and you'd be able to go dispose of it at the O'Reilly's or AutoZone, whichever one is near you and accepts oil. You can unscrew that big cap, dump out all your oil into a huge blue container, and then you'll dispose of your oil filter there too. There you go, made in Thailand. About American made. So now I'm just gonna clean the surface real quickly, so it's not crazy oily or nothing. And then to help me differentiate so that it doesn't leak, I put it right side up. This is a little taller than the new one I put in. I'll leave it here. And with the old towel, I try to clean as much off of the surface of my oil pan. Try to swoop all that in here. Helps with cleanup and storage. I'll be bringing a this microfiber is really soaking all of this up. That's good. This thing doesn't even really click anymore. There you go. Now, clean hand, clean pan. It'll go back into the backyard, right side up, standing for storage. And now to top her off. So come in here, take a look. It's all clean. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna put this rag right here to protect the case of any spillage. I already know it by memory, but if you were to Google how many quarts does your make and model take, you can Google it, it'll tell you. And then let's say it says it takes 4 quarts or 4.2 quarts. Go ahead and put 3.5 or 3.7, whatever you can kind of tell. 3.7 would be right here, 3.5, 3 1/4, or the full. And with that, you could start topping it off little by little to get that perfect measurement. I like it on the full side. Others can stick on the half side, and others, as long as they can barely even read it, they'll go with that. So again, I'm gonna pour sideways. I don't have a funnel with me. Actually, I have one in the car. Let's go ahead and use that. Where are you? Oh, thought I had one. Well, I don't have a funnel. We could use a water bottle, but I got it. No need for any of that. I already know exactly how much this needs. It's not windy, so that's why it's perfect. If it was windy, I'd be scared. I'm gonna use 4 quarts fully and then a little extra, probably a 0.2 to a 0.4 of a new quart. And I'm gonna be checking the rate of oil loss. If you gotta put half a quart to a full quart every month or 2, that's a lot. Some cars, my other car, the older one that got crashed behind this vehicle that I'm working on, I can go 6 months between an oil change on the high side. On the low side, let's say I went out of town, maybe 2.5, 3 months, it won't burn a single amount, or not, probably not visible to the naked eye, of oil. So big difference of this one, if it does burn or leak a lot of oil versus, you know, other cars. Get every drop out of there. Makes it easier for just cleanup. Now Mercedes Benz of Oakland, they said that every drop, if the city did an inspection and they didn't leak out all these bottles to their empty, every drop is a $10,000 fine. I bet you he was lying to me, but really wanted to stress to make sure that everything is empty before disposing of. So we got 1. Second one. Patience is key here, guys. I'm using full synthetic 5W30. Just let it drain a little bit. What is this? Diagnosis. Oh. Must be a special snap-on style connection. So, like I said, next day. Oh, I also need to do the starter, because sometimes when I'm starting this car, it gives me a like a winding, grinding noise, and I've replaced a starter or two before on different vehicles, so I'm gonna blame it on that. Come on. There you go. That's cool. Ah, damn, this one's broken, but cool still. I'll have to buy new ones of these and get these out of there. Ah, be careful. Okay, at least it was empty. Let me use all these other oil. Actually, I'll save that one for that car's oil change, because I'm already getting rid of it. I got oil in there that's 2 years old, not opened, but let's just use new with the new. For me, this is a new car. I love it. It has rims, tint, sound system. I just need to add some subwoofers. Third quart. Perfect weather today to be doing this. As I'm doing this, you guys, I hope everyone's having a good year so far. I will say, for my New Year's resolution, I have not done the best at going to the gym, but I've hit the gym at least once a week, or equivalent of, which is at least a walk. But this week I'm going to try to go to the gym every single day, because I am on a set route this whole week with a coworker that I know guaranteed I should be off no matter what, no more than 3 p.m. 2:30 at the best. Today was the lightest day at 12 o'clock. So hence I uploaded the other video that I need to edit of the tool set review. And now I'm going to be working on, later on this week, the oil change review. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. If you guys are failing at your New Year's resolution, don't tell yourself I'll start next month or next year. Just today or tomorrow. But like my girl said, my problem is that I keep saying I'm gonna try, or I'm gonna attempt. Just do it. Just say at 7 p.m. I'm going to the gym, instead of I'm gonna try to go to the gym at 7 and giving me the leeway. No, you know. So jump back on track with those New Year resolutions, guys. It's never too late. Eventually you'll be at the finish line. When you are at the finish line, it could have been your starting point if you didn't get up and do it. Sorry, hit the camera on the 4 out of 4. Fourth quart. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the car is inclined. So I'm gonna have to reverse the car off the ramp, which will also allow it to fill up from the oil filter that is empty. Now, yes, a lot of people do fill up the oil filter when you have a upside down housing placement, but mine's on top. If I fill up my oil filter, it's gonna pour out. I have no choice but to connect it empty. Yeah, this bad boy was running a bit low too, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just add about a, shouldn't be a full half, but I have some leaking, so you know, extra oil, more oil pressure. It'll really show me how fast it really leaks by having more pressure built up on it. This motor mount is just so easy to look at that. Damn, boom one, boom two, replace. Hayward Hills, beautiful. So this is 4/4, 3/4, 2/4, and 1/4 or a quarter. I'm gonna pour about a quarter in, and then maybe right here to the 12. So opposite of the 12. So whatever, like let's say I get to this first quarter, just hold that placement of your fingers and run it from the top here. That'll be your 800. And then if I wanted half, run it to the half, you'd be around 20. And then 3/4 from right here. No, actually, no, yeah. Then it does reverse. Then you would end up here if you wanted 3/4 or the full bottle. Dun, 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 dun. Three, two, one, and go. Hold it flat in my hand, and that's a good quarter there, almost a quarter. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cap back on. No spillage, amazing. Quick clean, quick wipe. Usually at a lube shop we'll just do a quick dust down with the oil that's on the rag. Shine up your oil filter housing, your radiator hose, just to make it look clean. Okay, one more time. That's righty tighty. One quick dip just to see. It's touching, it's there. We're at a 3/4 level. Real clean too, compared to before the video. There was nothing. Okay, we're gonna stick this right here. We're gonna move the phone over here. I should be good off the gloves now. If I need to top off more, then I can do that with my hands. Main thing was my thumb because of the cut. So like I said, if you guys haven't reset your trip B for your oil change, do it now. If you have a specific car, the new cars, you gotta push start, hit the brake, tap this and do that. Just go on YouTube, it's almost everywhere. Somebody made a video of something. So keys, you hear that? That's what I'm talking about, my starter. There we go. So I need to replace my starter. That was a perfect noise, the exact everything. All right, so usually at Firestone or Wheelworks, you'll run it for 10 seconds and you have a spotter. If they yell shut it off, you shut it off immediately. That means you didn't tighten something right and you have leakage. So if you're by yourself, don't move your car just yet. You turn it on, run it for 10. With the amount of oil pressure that is actually in a car, if you had any leakage, you would have a puddle as big as North Carolina. as a figure of speech. But yes, you would have had a huge puddle, and you would have then said, damn, either you didn't screw on your oil filter. And actually, that's another good way to check. If you had the wrong size and you still put it on because you were hesitant, it would have spilled all the way out. And just the FYI, if you have a 98, that's your thermostat housing, just in case you need to replace it. All right, so now we started it. At first I was thinking it was my battery, which I will still replace. I always replace the battery on a new car. So we're gonna reverse back. Boom. Let it run just for a little bit. Make sure it's all nice and toasty. If you hear I remember one time we didn't connect the oil filter cap back on correctly, and it was a Mustang, and it just sounded horrendous. So we're gonna let that run, let it coat everything that it needs to coat. Clean up my area. If there's any new any people that want me to sponsor their tools, man, I love them. Let me know. I would definitely not mind making a video on new tool brands out there. All right, gotta get a bag from inside the house, but we'll get that right now. Usually batteries have a sticker of the day that they sold it. 700 CCA is real good. Nope, nothing. I don't see nothing. There's no corrosion. Might not be the battery. I can get it tested for free. Get it tested for free at your local AutoZone O'Reilly's. Or even Firestone. Just so you guys can see how it looks. All right, quite a things to do. We're gonna take probably 3. There is there you go. I should have bought that cleaning tool. I could use lemon. Mexicans use lemon, but I'll get the cleaning tool next time, and I'll show you guys how to do that. And just so you guys can see me do it, because I did not check it, this is your transmission dipstick, usually red, and a safety pin. Pull out. First one is always a wipe. Push back in. Now we saw that there's no leakage. Doesn't mean that it hasn't burned any. And right here, it's almost to the 1, 2, 3rd bevel there. Now remember, transmission oil expands under heat, which is why that's when you measure it. So if you think that you're too low, run the car for 30 minutes at least. You know, go for a drive, and then when you get back home, check it. First wipe, ignore it. Second dip, pull out, and booyah, baby. A little over, but that's okay. Now, I want to show you guys something. Let's do a contrast here. Where my thumb is at, nail, that's the low. For L, full, that's the max you want. But if yours was all the way to where my nail's at right now, that's bad. That's too much. Open up your drain plug, count 2-3 seconds, however many seconds you think you need, and then plug her back up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be posting more. Shouts out to Chris Fix. I definitely watch all of his videos since he started. Taught me a lot how to do what I do also alongside while I was working at Wheelworks and Mercedes Benz of Oakland. So, you know, I hope that, I know I won't be as smooth talking as him or others, right, that are on YouTube, but I hope that it was cool, informational, and fun. So thank you guys. Have a nice day. It is not too hard to do this. Just a quick recap. I spend on average $120 on oil. Oil has gone up a little more, just like fuel has, but the last time I bought my 5 cases, it cost me $120. I bought 5 cases, and I have 4, so it gives me 2 extra. So 5 with 2, about 7 oil changes, or a year's worth of oil changes every 3 months. So 3, 6, 9, 12. I mean, I'm hitting them no matter what. That's why I'm probably still having cases from last year, is because I have at least a year to a year and a half worth of oil changes. Now this is again 4.5 quarts put in. If you have a truck, you're gonna take the full box, but for 120, 5 boxes, that's still a year to a year and 3 months worth of oil changes for 120 bucks. Which, if I were to go, never go to Jiffy Lube, but if I were to go to Oil Changers, they do a lot better on the procedures. What's it called? Definitely they would charge me, I think I went last time for the old Camry, exactly like this one, $109. So for what I'll be able to do in 1 year's worth of oil, the filters are on the side, that's separate. But I mean, add 15 bucks each filter, that's 60 plus 120, 180, 180 bucks, 4 or 5 oil changes a year. You can't beat that. You'd barely get, from 5 oil changes, you'd only get 2 at any place you go to. So keep that in mind, you guys, when sometimes, I know times can be tough, but if you can afford it and save up for it, just go bulk. Go to Costco, go to Walmart. I saw Walmart, they had these cases of 12 quarts. Ooh, damn, that's hot. Shit. 12 quarts for, it was 60 bucks. When you do the math, it's actually cheaper than going to Costco, because I would have paid 66 at Costco. It was 60 flat, plus tax obviously, but 60 flat for 12 quarts, and it was Mobile One. So that's a steal if you have a truck. I'm okay with my Costco stuff though. Alrighty guys, have a nice day. Cheers, and hope everybody's succeeding on their second chance on changing any part of their life or lifestyle that they're doing. God bless. Bye.